Okay, let's take a look at the inequalities. We talked about the inequalities before, right? It looks like a mouth. Let's take a look. The first one is open to the left. The second one is open to the right. Now, it looks like a mouth and it always wants to eat the bigger number, right? So the bigger number is actually on the open side. As an example, I could have 5 and then this inequality sign and 3, right? 5 is bigger than 3. Now, because the first number is greater than 3, right, is bigger, the way we're going to pronounce that inequality sign is greater than. So we call this 5 is greater than 3. Now, the other way, I could have this sign. Notice how the thing is still open on the 5. But because the first number is smaller or less than the second number, we're going to call this 3 is less than 5. Now here with inequality signs and absolute values, what I'm going to do when I have an absolute value, I'm just going to make the number in the inside positive. If it was positive to begin with, keep it positive. If it's negative to begin with, convert it to positive. Okay, so what do I mean with that? Looking at number 27, the 5, let me leave the 5 alone. But then absolute value of -8, I'm going to convert that to +8. An absolute value makes everything positive, right? Absolute value is basically the distance from 0. Distance is always positive. So I'm looking at here to comparing 5 and 8. I know 8 is bigger. So the inequality sign that I'm going to have is the one that is open to the 8 because 8 is bigger. Because the first number, right, the way we pronounce the inequality sign is based on the first number. Because my first number is smaller, we're going to read that as 5 is less than 8. If 5 was bigger, if the first number was bigger, I would have called that greater than. All right, let's take a look at number 28. First of all, let me get rid of the absolute value signs. Remember, absolute value, what it means is that I'm going to make the inside positive. So I'm going to make the absolute value of -2 is +2. The absolute value of -5 is +5. Now the inequality sign that I'm going to do is open towards the 5. Because my first number is smaller, we're going to say 2 is less than 5. That's how we pronounce this. Now let's take a look at number 29. First of all, let me get rid of absolute values. The -3 has no absolute value, so let me leave that as a -3. Now the absolute value of -7, that converts to +7. Remember, absolute value makes everything positive. I know positives are bigger than negatives, so this mouth is going to be open towards the big number, so towards the positive. -3 is less than 7. Lastly, let's take a look at question number 30. So let's continue. So absolute value, we're going to make everything inside positive. So absolute value of 3 is just 3. Right, we're going to make it positive. If it was positive to begin with, just leave it positive. The -3 on this other side stays as a -3. Now, the inequality sign, I'm going to have it open towards the bigger number. Positives are bigger than negatives. So because the first number is bigger this time, we're going to read this as 3 is greater than -3.